AAPS was founded in 1943 to preserve private medicine, and that means the physician is working for the good of his patients, like it says in the Oath of Hippocrates, not for the good of the organization or society or the political party or the advancement of science, but each individual patient is the doctor's first priority. And the doctor has to have the authority to go along with his responsibility to that patient, to look into the best methods, to communicate with his colleagues. And sometimes, or a lot of times, you just have to guess about what's the best thing to do for your patient and to keep a careful watch on what works best. We found that physicians in independent practice are able to do this. But once a doctor has an employer or he has a managed care plan where he's restricted to what's on the drop-down menu, then his hands are really tied. If the NIH is the authority that their employer respects, then if he goes outside those rules, no matter how much his patient needs it, he's putting his life at risk, and it's becoming more and more. We used to worry about malpractice liability, but that's a minor thing compared with being peer-reviewed by your hospital in a way just to get rid of you that destroys your whole career forever, or of being before the licensure board because you deviated from the standard of care, which used to be determined by what doctors in a similar situation, rational, well-trained people would do, but now is dictated more and more by single authorities from on high whose opinions keep just getting carried on along, like the AMA or the Arizona Medical Association. I'm learning about ivermectin here. The Arizona Medical Association, our county medical society, the AMA will say nothing about this. And you ask about, well, what are doctors doing? And the answer is, well, nothing that's not recommended by the FDA. So for a patient to have an independent doctor who is not under quite so much severe restrictions on what he can do is extremely important. I mean, occasionally a patient will tell me, well, I begged and pleaded with the hospital to do this for my person who was my patient, my husband who was dying. Please, will you give him some intravenous vitamin C? And sometimes the patient's suggestion works. I mean, it doesn't always, but if the doctor's afraid that he dare not do something that's even very safe or that's even being clinically trialed or has been reported in the literature, even if a long time ago, that he will lose his job, then he has every incentive to say, well, there's nothing more that I can do. So keeping this option open for patients is extremely important.
Thank you, Dr. Orient. I championed right to try, and Dr. Ryder, basically that's what you practiced in. I mean, you had a patient there, you had to do something with that patient, and the patient's son begged you to do something, and you did something. I think that is exactly your right. And we certainly are seeing a different type of medical establishment where we have fewer doctors practicing medicine and more associated with these hospitals where they follow protocols, which makes perfect sense. But in a pandemic, you have to think outside the box. You have to do other things.